Hi guys, and welcome back to another RTR Imperium Surrectum update video with our good friend Ahowl11. Welcome back to the channel, mate.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for joining me. It may be the last time that Ahowl11 is on here for a while, so it's a really exciting one, really, and thank you once again for coming. Do you want to just explain why it might be the last time for a little while?
Yeah, and when you say a little while, we're not talking about like a week. We're talking more, we're talking more like a year. I have taken a hiatus from games and modding and anything that involves consoles or PCs, um, for a good reason, obviously. I am getting married as of, let's see, what's today? Today is Monday the 10th. I am being married to my fiance on Saturday, the 15th of this week. And the first year of marriage is very crucial for a long term, healthy marriage and a good family structure and everything. And seeing as I have a career and that this mod is almost like a second career on top of another career, it's just better to take a step back for a season of time and instead of putting my passion towards a mod that nets me $0, um, to put that passion towards my future wife, finding a home, my job, the people in my community, and potentially having kids within the next few years, I'm needed in bigger areas of life than uh, creating a fan made version of a computer game. So, um, life comes at you fast, reality happens quick. And for me, it's a healthy thing to do to step away for about a year. So, everybody on the team is known for about 2 weeks now. And now is the time to make the public announcement. RIS is going nowhere. The team will be led by a coalition of our members. Red Zed here will still be putting out updates as usual. Things will continue. My presence will just not be there for 1 year. So that's what's happening. And we wanted to make sure that this video was a good one. And we have a lot of content to show you guys. So definitely excited. And I'm excited to see where RES will be 1 year from today.
Yeah, and like Ahowl said, it is very important to stress, guys. You know, this isn't the end of the mod or anything. They are, of course, continuing full steam ahead, and I will still be doing all of these update videos, RAS weekends when we're closer to a beta release, all that sort of thing. So make sure you do stay tuned. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit sad losing Ahowl for a little bit, but I'm sure you'll be back very, very well. But when I say very soon in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, a year can go by pretty quickly. If you think about it, last year we were previewing the Illyrians and whatnot. So, I mean, it seems like just yesterday we were doing videos on the Illyrians. So, by the time we know it, I'll be back, and who knows what we'll be previewing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll hopefully be previewing a lot of Roman stuff. But today, we just wanted to show you guys some of the work in a bit more detail than what we went over last time. We talked about the resources and all that sort of thing last time. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and check that out, because if you haven't seen that one, it might be a little bit hard to keep up with this one. So make sure you check that one out. It'll be in the description below. But with this one, we are going to get going with a few of the extra stuff that we didn't get to go into last time. And first things first, it is the question mark button up here. So if you press this button now in game, guys, you're going to get a lot of messages, as you can see, and these are all of the guides for what you need to play the game. So if you're ever, stuck on something when this update comes out, this is all going to come up. So you can see we are the Antigonids right now with our glorious capital Pella, but it goes through your special mechanics, the military reforms that you have, so you don't, ever miss anything like that. We've got the sicker cavalry reforms here. We've got the reforms 2, which is turn 100, all that sort of thing. So you've got a lot of stuff on here. We've also got the siege and blockade effects on here as well. Do you want to talk about that, Ahowl, a little bit, or do you want me
Sure.
to
Yeah.
just
I
go
mean,
over
I
it?
have a. So here's the thing full transparency, um, a few months ago, we had to really figure out what was going on with the mod. There was a lot of issues and everything. So a lot of my attention has been fixing the mod and getting a map that works and fixing some major issues just to keep us alive. While I was doing that, I think this is in October, we had some key members put most of their attention towards mechanics, and that's what we're seeing today. Like we're seeing the fruits of their labor right now. Lusitano, Biggest Dickus, and Exy are the three architects of a lot of the mechanics that we're going to see here today. I'd say Biggest Dickus has probably led the majority of the mechanics that we'll be talking about today, but Lusitano is the architect of the siege and blockade effects. And basically, what that is, it's a script, and what the script does is, I believe, it gives traits to characters, but it also affects the city that's being sieged. So as you can see here, there's tax penalties, there's trade issues, population growth issues, and it kind of increases over time. I believe that traits are involved as well with characters. Lusitano, who watches these videos, he can probably comment and correct. I believe each of the members that are responsible for these mechanics will be watching this when it comes out, and they will be answering questions in the comments. You can also find them on the Discord if you guys have any deeper questions. This video is mainly just to kind of give you an overview um,
Yeah, to show
of
you
what to
that.
expect.
Yeah, to show you that all of this work on the mechanics that we have been broadly talking about, to give a bit more detail to it and to show you that it is really, really taking shape. Obviously, you know, these things are all being tested constantly. We have to say this every video, don't we? But,
Yeah.
you know, it's all work in progress, guys. So if something's unbalanced, it will be found by the beta testers. There's a lot of beta testers, and it will be changed. But you know, we're showing you the broad scope of where things are going mechanically, because I think mechanically there's a lot of meat on the bone that has been added that we haven't been able to show you properly. So if we move on to the sort of special resource exploitation levels, so we'll show you some of the building chains in a little bit later, but as you can see, these basically go through all of the resources, and they're basically bonuses to your whole empire if you manage to get these resources in place. Is it for all of the controlling and developing key settlements is essential to unlocking these powerful features. So this is basically a unique bonus that you can get from very special buildings in certain provinces that can affect your whole empire. So very cool indeed. I think that's going to be pretty powerful, along with, of course, your resource buildings. If we can find a resource building somewhere in here. I think there's one in Corinth, actually. Let's have a look at Corinth. No, there isn't. Not
No,
yet.
I don't think there's anything pre-built.
Yeah, but we can show some of them off. So, you know, you got your orchards, dye collector. Those are the standard river ports, a mill,
Sure.
horse trainer, and that's all because, of course, this region here, Amarthia, has grain, horses, gold dyes, fruits as well. So lots of different bonuses, of course, mines too. Very nice. So obviously that is really cool, and that is a feature that we actually haven't talked about yet. So that is going to be something very interesting. I'm very interested to see how that's going to work
I think
in
I think
game.
I think the exploitation is kind of like the final building in the chain
Yeah.
that you can get to. And if you I'm looking in this picture, it's fine pottery factory, and it requires a city or above, a pottery factory, or a forum. And then also, one thing to note with all the buildings going forward is, we're testing out a feature where all buildings will need to be attached somehow to a government building. So the government building that you select at the beginning of a conquest not only is going to affect your recruitment, it will affect your buildings. And so let's say pottery, you build up the pottery chain as your city develops, and then you can build this pottery factory. but if I read it correctly, I believe you then don't get to build a pottery factory elsewhere. So these exploitation buildings, they're special because you can only build one of them each. But if you think about it, with 41 different trade resources, you can build 41 different exploitation buildings. It could be something of a solid goal to have for the late game as you develop your empire. And you would need an empire by then, because if you're going to have all the trade resources, you're going to have a really huge area of land.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all going to interplay, that sort of thing. And, they're all going to add a lot of depth, choosing which resources you want to exploit, which ones you want to leave on the wayside, where you want to put your faction-wide sort of bonuses in. So it's going to be very, very deep. Compared to what it has been previously, which is really, really cool. And I just wanted to say one thing on the growth and economy. Obviously, now the city sizes have changed quite a lot bigger. And basically, cities are going to differentiate a lot now. In your fertile areas, you're still going to be able to get up to huge city, but it's still going to be an effort. Whereas in these infertile areas, somewhere maybe down here, central Greece, base farming level in Megaris is low. It's already on minus zero point 0.5 on normal as a large town with 4,500 people. So you're going to have to put a lot of effort into growing these low population growth cities. And especially with that, there are now different farming things per factions as well. It's different. It's not always the same as land clearance, subsistence herds, and granaries. But you can see you get different choices. So basically, if you choose land clearance way over here, which is farmland size and pure population growth, then you're not going to be able to build subsistence herds as well, where the subsistence herds give a bit more money but less population growth. So you basically got to choose your picks wisely for where you want to grow your cities and how much money you put into certain cities to grow them
Well,
as well.
and as far as growth and economy, if you go to the building browser, there's a grain imports building that we've had for a long time, but it's been
Yeah.
completely overhauled. And grain imports is separate from farming, um, but there's a huge description. Um, there's what's the next level? There should be a
Yeah.
description. I'm looking at.
So
It
go on
starts
the
with a full stomach today means no risks tomorrow, even if there are less coins in our coffers.
on that one.
There it is.
Yeah.
So if you look at the description, that's one thing that we're going to try to do. So the descriptions are going to try to have the Rome Total War-esque feel, where there's a little bit of a humor, there's a little bit of a immersive kind of dialogue, but it's also going to give an actual description of what the building does and why you shouldn't use it. Um, So basically, this one right here has a lot of information, but look at the population growth. I mean, and the happiness. I mean, it's a boon. I mean,
Yeah.
but you need to have it. Your empire size is connected to this as well. So it says empire size 5 can support up to four supply points. Supply points are counted as the sum of tiers of each grain import building within your faction. So as you guys can see, just by the description alone, I mean, we have definitely gotten way more complex and immersive when it comes to how the buildings work. It's not going to be your quintessential copy paste after conquering game like it's been over the last couple of years. There's going to be real decision making, but if I remember correctly, just from watching some of the feedback being posted from beta testers, grain imports have a huge impact on growing your cities. And it's one of those things where you can, for 10,000 here, it is one turn, but you're going to basically take a city and you can kind of control the outcome here. And I like what Red was saying, based on what you decide, you kind of get to choose what cities are going to grow and become prosperous and booming, and what cities are you going to kind of keep at like that large town level, because actual growth has been changed to be very, very slow. And we haven't even gotten to the fertility work of the map. So anything that's infertile and fertile are probably going to have even more of an impact. And we've also talked about having climate and terrain be an impact there as well. So there's a lot coming down. I mean, we really want to use the engine to its full potential. So yeah, population growth is really going to help people when it comes to managing their cities.
Yeah, definitely. And as it says in the description of it as well, this isn't going to be able to be built everywhere. There's going to be a limit of them as well. So you can't just spam these out every single settlement. And like I say, that's going to add a lot more tactics
Well,
into it.
if you look at that, there's faction-wide penalties.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
I mean, and when I say faction-wide penalties, there's a feature in Rome Total War that a lot of mods don't use, but we've decided to use is faction-wide bonuses and penalties. So if you build that, that's a huge investment because not only does it cost a lot up front, look at that, you get tax income bonus of 30%, negative, trade income bonus, negative. So now, again, some of you might see this like, whoa, that's crazy. That's okay. We are testing this. We may not even use it. It may not even be necessary, but we need to be able to limit you, the player, as you build your empire. There needs to be Total War has that issue of the more you get, the easier the
Yeah.
game gets, and then you get to a point where it's just boring, and you're just kind of idly conquering. It's just there's no challenge anymore because money's flowing, everything's growing. It's just everything kind of spirals. We're kind of using tools and tricks to make it so like even if you have an empire, you're still going to have to be monitoring your money, your population growth, your troops and stuff like that. That way you can be more engaged in the middle to late game.
Yeah, exactly. It's just to limit snowballing, isn't it? Because if you could build this everywhere, like despite the tax income and the trade income faction wide, you'd probably just be, completely benefiting from that extra population anyway. So, yeah, it's to try and limit snowballing, which. Snowballing's always going to be a thing in any map painter game, whether it's a Total War game, whether it's a Paradox game, whether it's a real-time strategy game. But as much as the team can do to limit it is going to be very good without it feeling arbitrary, I think is the key thing as well. We don't want it to be arbitrary at all. But yeah, very nice indeed. Should we move on to the recruitment system as well? The brand new recruitment system. Now, of
Yeah.
course, there's a lot of information in here, guys. But yeah, cool. Hey, how do
Yeah,
you
we
want to
can go
speak?
through it. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's self-explanatory, and we can skim through it real quick, and then we can maybe look at the building browser and kind of get a visual. So basically, if you go to the top of the description there, um, so yeah, it's been reworked, and then we want you to have the information at the tip of your fingers throughout the game. I think one of the main things, even for like previous editions of RAS, we've struggled with just many people asking questions that we feel like we've answered a million times. So we almost feel like this is a FAQ and manual at the same time. Um, and then, do you mind going back to that?
Yep.
Yeah.
There. Sorry.
So there's different tiers of units. We went over this a couple years ago with RAS weekends, but here's a reminder: there's different tiers. There's like, as we can see here, levy, professional, and elite. And what we've done is we've been able to adjust the turns that each of these types of units take to recruit to really make it so you're not spamming out elites. Like you actually have to earn your elite units. They actually take some time. So far, it's been pretty good. Um, we've also gotten rid of the traditional barracks, ranges, and stables, and we've kind of replaced it with what Europa Barbarorum used and the MICs. So MIC is military industrial complex, and as you can see, each MIC gives you certain levels of ability. So you have like your levy and basic, and then you get to your professional. and then you get to your elite. But it's really cool as it kind of offsets its balances. As you get up in the MIC, you gain recruitment points. So it's really nice. It helps balance. It um, it really makes it very strategic. Every city is going to be different. So if you wanted a common theme about what we're working on with mechanics, is it's to make every city different, um, to where it's not copy paste everywhere because of the sheer amount of cities. Um, so each recruitment point reduces by 1 turn required to train a unit. Garrison chain only enables recruiting of most basic units. So right, there's a garrison building. The garrison building is a new addition, and what it is when you conquer a region, you have 4 government options. So if you just destroy that government option in Tricka,
Yeah, anywhere. Let's go.
where you were just there, it's a little south.
This one. There we
It's
go.
right there. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you do that and you look at your building options, the Eleutheria is basically Greek for garrison. So right click. No, right click.
Yeah, sorry.
Um, so no government can be built with this. Now, as you can see there, you have 3 government options. You don't have the homeland option because Tricca, which is part of Thessaly, is not a homeland for the Antigonids. But the garrison is basically, you're not trying to set up a government right now. You're trying to just keep the peace. And what it does is, it doesn't allow you to do much, but it allows you to create some maybe basic levy units. So you almost are treating it like a frontier option, which is really nice. I mean, if you're in the middle of a war and you're taking something, and you might hold it for a few turns, but there's a chance that the enemy could take it back. If you lose a big battle or something, you could just use this. Um, it's just an experiment that we're using. So yeah, I mean, there is so much that we are doing. It's crazy. Just even talking about the
Yeah.
recruitment, just how different this game is going to be. So you get past that. I mean, governments and colonies are also going to dictate what you can build. So we already talked about the MICs when it comes to the ability of your troops and like how good your troops are. Governments are going to dictate whether you can train local troops or factional troops. So as you can see here, you have the region information building in Megara, and Megara is a Greek city, so you have your basic Greek units there that you can train. But then if you click on the dependency building, um,
It'll be once that's
um,
built, so we'll probably
oh, the reason
go.
why it can't be built is because the training grounds aren't built.
Yeah, so if we go onto this one, you can see it a bit better.
Right.
Because if we go on to direct rule, you can see these are all the factional units that can be built. But because it's not, homeland as well, there are some AOR units available to be trained as well with level 3 barracks and armory. So yeah.
But
Hope.
also there's even more of a wrinkle here, right? So Corinth is a great option. So Corinth has direct rule, but it also has a level 3 colony. That colony, so without that colony, those Macedonian units would not be able to be recruited. Um, so to put it plainly, you can get your factional units if you have a homeland or if you set up direct rule with the and start building colonies. If you don't do it and it's not homeland, your AOR options are then indirect rule and autonomous state. And what those give you is they give you a couple of your factional units, but just kind of like your basic guys. And then they give you the local AOR. Now you can find what the local AOR is in the region information building, which is really nice, like right after conquest. I think this is like something we've noticed with your campaigns is there's certain areas of the map where you conquer it and you're like, okay, like what units would I get here? And it's just nice to be able to right click real quick and just see, oh, okay, so these are Illyrians. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, this is a Thracian area, or this is a Greek area. There might be a few areas where it's kind of a hybrid. But if you go back down to Corinth, there's something else on the
It's
region
in.
information. So you see there on the region information building, you see the Antigonans maintain two mercenary centers located in Pella and Corinth. These centers enable the hiring, recruitment, and retraining of unique mercenaries. So you see there, you have a Carian mercenary, and I believe there's another mercenary in there, like Greek hoplites and some peltasts. Um, but what's really nice is just being able to, yeah, see, Pella's got Trallians, they've got Cretans, there's Thessalian Lancers, Thracian noble cavalry. So you have direct access to mercenary units in a select grouping of cities, and they're scattered throughout the map.
Yeah, cool. I think that's really interesting. I'm very interested to see how that plays out on the grand scale of a campaign, to see whether you maybe, target some of these cities, to see whether you can cut that off from your opposition, which is really cool. But yeah, I think obviously, everything's a lot more in depth. There's more complexity, but I don't think it's too complex. It's basically build the government. That's how you're going to choose whether you want AOR or your faction troops. And then you build the military industrial building, which is going to allow you your different levels of troops, which is really cool, with a few extra wrinkles added on for some extra depth. So yeah, I think that's going to be very, very good. I mean, it's so much better than the than the recruitment building that is currently there. That was basically put in as a placeholder to build
Yeah.
this system. So yeah, I'm
Do
very
you have
excited for this.
so the last thing about recruitment that's really cool is the heavy cavalry feature. As you can see, the description talks about how you can only get it in your homeland, and you'll need to provide the horses. So if the region is a homeland and it has, the horse resource, you could likely get your Hetyroi pretty quickly. But if it's not homeland, you'd have to do a lot of work to get those Hetyroi. I mean, you'd have to build the colony, and then you'd have to have a horse exploitation building if the horses aren't there in the region. So if you think about it, if you take Thessaly, yes, you get Thessalian Lancers, but maybe you want your Hetyroi, or maybe if the Seleucids, you want the Cataphracts, or what have you. You can use the horses to get your heavy cavalry. Whereas maybe in other regions of Thessaly that aren't as cavalry driven, you can't do that unless you get the exploitation building. So what it does is it gives you everything. It gives you the potential to do everything, but different like stages of difficulty, which is really nice. And I think that's kind of like the sweet spot of what a player would want, is like they don't want to be completely boxed in to where they can't or can, depending on whatever. So instead of boxing in or making it completely the same everywhere, it's yes, you can, but and it's nice because you can get Hetyroi in Pella. You can also get Hetyroi in Sparta, but Sparta would either need to have the horse resource, or you would need to like on your own, like out of your way, invest in Sparta's capability to exploit horses.
Yeah.
So I like that as a feature.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be very interesting for your cavalry and your camels. If you are a camel enjoyer out there, which I've got to say I am not.
No, you're not.
I hate camels. Not the animals themselves. I mean, in Total War, I have never used a camel unit that I've enjoyed using. They're just too slow. But if you're a camel man, then or a camel woman, this is make sure you've got good camels for your horse, not for your horses, for your camel units.
Get the camel herds building. We've
Yeah,
got
exactly.
UI for it and everything. You, nice little camels around an oasis. It's a great building.
Yeah,
But there you
definitely.
go, horse trainer.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do now, we've gone through like a lot of detail there, guys. I do appreciate that. I do know we've been through a lot of detail, but we're just going to dive into the building browser a little bit just to show you guys. You can pause at any point if you want to see what they are currently are like for each type of building. But of course, remember, guys, that some of these will change. Maybe not all of them, but some of them will change. Obviously, you can see you've got this sort of garrisons building here, which is something that we talked about before, as you can see. So if I go back to that, you can see this little thing here, not training grounds or above. So you can only get that if you get that type of government building, which was the Eleutheria or whatever it was in Greek. My Greek isn't very good. So where did we delete? Let's delete another building and we can show you again. So yeah, as you can see, if you get the Eleutheria, see, I said it perfectly. And if you do get that, then you can get these fortified outposts, which is basically your way of quick conquest if you want quick conquest. So you can still do quick conquest. It's not like you have to sit on cities for 10 turns every time you take them. But obviously, you're not going to have the benefits of that factional recruitment. I mean, tactically already, I'm thinking like what I would do, and that is probably... where did we delete that? I would probably garrison everything with this. Why is that 99? Oh, we've got a bonus from this guy, this governor anyway. I would probably be building this in the places that I conquer, and then as they become more stable, when they've had a bit of self-rule, then I would come back and impose my own rule upon the place with an indirect rule or a direct rule or a dependency, most likely. But yeah, that of course creates all those different options. Very nice. Indeed. So I think, oh my god, Megara's got a lot of trade resources. Okay, marble livestock. Let's go somewhere that has a lot of trade resources, shall we? Should we go for Pella and have a look through some of these? As you can see, like we talked about before, guys, the farming building. So here we have the land clearance. If you're going to build that, you can't then build the subsistence herds or the huge granaries, the granaries style building. So yeah, of course, that is to stop being very OP. So you've got to choose. Do you want more money from the granaries and the grain imports in the middle with the warlords herds, or do you want pure population growth with the land clearance buildings as well? And of course, plenty of tiers on all of these buildings. And as you can see, guys, one thing that I really love about it, and something that I've been banging on about for a long time, is having these buildings be spread on the lower tier of buildings a lot more as well, basically so that a lot of the time when you're conquering a lot of places, you get stuck on town and large town in a lot of low fertility areas, but now you're going to be able to build so much more in towns and large towns before they then upgrade, or maybe they won't ever upgrade. You shall see. So yeah, it just allows you a lot more options. You're not just stuck building exactly the same buildings on town and large town as you would be before. So yeah, do you want to talk about any of these particular ones, Ahowl?
I think it's just really cool to see the diversity of buildings, and as you can see, some of these have had their UI cards done, others are still in progress. But as you can see, like Pella is a very resourcefully rich region. Um, agro, what's that called? Agro
Which one's that?
forestry. So it just there's all kinds of different things you can do. Now let me just explain. When you pick one of those trade buildings, you eliminate the ability to do any of the others. So let's say you build orchards, dye collectors and whatnot would not be able to be built. Now, the key to this for us is we need to balance these out to where you're not just building the same thing every time, or if one of these just does not provide value at all, if we don't want it, so it's never built. So we will work on that, obviously. but just know, like, we use trade first, but there's going to be different types of mines. There's going to be different types of trade, different types of farming. Like we see, like we have farming herds and granaries. So like there's different ways of food, and I think we can see this expanding into like different types of ports eventually. So we'll have like war ports and economic ports. Um, and I think it's just good because we just want more elements of decision making, so you can properly develop your city without it just being basic.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, it just adds so many choices. So many choices. We've also got, these colony buildings, which is basically to convert the populace. So obviously, in a homeland region, we don't need to build that because it is already your culture. But elsewhere, so if we go down to, say, Corinth, we already have a large colony here, which is converting the population. So there's just so much more depth, guys. I could go on forever about all of this stuff. I mean, Corinth looks like it's got an insane amount of trade buildings, but it's actually not. It's more glassware. Yeah, glassware, pottery factories, industry. So this industry building, as you can see, this region can provide better armors due to presence of flax, hides, livestock, or copper. So, your armory is not going to be easily, readily available everywhere again as well. So, you've got to choose where you want to have your. So, obviously, here we've got a copper supply. That means that this area can upgrade armor, whereas if there's not that, then maybe we can't upgrade the armor as much or at all as well. And we do have mints now, because mints, of course, are really important in the ancient world, minting coins and, those being used for trade and all that sort of thing everywhere. Mints are going to be quite a big thing. With autonomous mints, obviously that is going to be in a indirectly ruled place, like a dependency or something like that. Sorry, what was that? Needs to be a dependency or indirect rule. But if you are in a direct rule region, you can build a centralized mint instead. So yeah, very, very cool indeed. Is there anything else you want to say on any
Yeah,
of
I
this?
think there's one more. I think it's a treasury building, and it's in capitals.
Yeah, let's check.
And I think it provides
Here we go.
money,
Yeah.
but what it really does is it cripples the enemy, and it gives you a good little financial chunk. So capitals definitely are very valuable, and with as many factions as we're going to have, there's going to be a lot of different capitals. One thing that we may do is we might differentiate um, the capital treasury building to give you different, maybe. Well, I guess not. I was gonna say I was in the modding mode right there. I was gonna say maybe depending on the capital, you'll only get so much money. Like a minor faction's capital shouldn't give you as much money as like maybe Alexandria of the Ptolemies.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure what is and what's not possible. That's why um, the guys that are working on all this are doing it. I mean, but it's incredibly amazing to see where this has come. Yeah, we had a lot of bumps in the road about a few months ago at the end of 2024, but I feel like the team has really turned a corner, and really we just have such a diverse game that we can make here, and I think that's what the people really want and it's what they deserve. And it's actually one of the reasons why I felt comfortable taking this hiatus is I know that the team is working on some amazing things. And as you can see here, like I feel like I've learned a lot about these mechanics in this video with you because I've been hands off. I mean, they've been doing their own thing. I haven't had to be super heavily involved like I have been in the past with other things. And I think it's given me a chance to relax a little bit, to not stress out so much. And I can go take a year off and be close to my family and not have to worry about where RIS is going. I don't think when I come back in a year that RIS is going to be dead and all the devs are gone and nobody plays it. I just think that it's going to be normal, and it's going to be great to come back when I do come back and plug and play wherever I need to, and it'll be an exciting time. So I just really hats off to the team for everything that they've done. And hats off to everybody that supported us. I mean, it's just been so much fun.
Yeah, definitely, and it's been a pleasure doing these videos with you, mate, as well. And it's yeah, we've done a lot of content together at this point. So yeah, it really has been a pleasure.
Oh yeah, thanks. It's been a pleasure to work with you as well. And depending on where the team is at when I come back, I've already told you this. We're gonna be getting all kinds of marketing plans going and all kinds of videos, and RES weekends is gonna really hit. And I can say for everybody listening, I mean, do not expect a release while I'm gone. I mean, if the team somehow is like on hypersonic mode and everybody's modding at hypersonic speed, I can see it. But we have so much work laid out in front of us. I mean, about a week or two ago, I gave the team a roadmap of what needs to be done before we can even start entertaining a true release for everybody in the public, and it's gonna be around a year, to be honest, if not more. I mean, I am fully expecting to come back, and there's still work to be done. The Romans are going to be a great undertaking, and for the Romans to be done correctly, all these mechanics that we're seeing here have to be played through, fixed, adjusted, balanced, so that when we give you guys the final product, you can go play Romans, but it feels like a finished product, not a janky, unbalanced, buggy mess. Um, we at RAS, we know the importance of a good game, and we want to give you a good game, but it takes time. And that's another reason why I've decided to take this hiatus. Is like, I know it's going to take a long time before a release is ready, and the work is the work. It's just laid out in front of us. It's going to take time for all the steps to be done and all the boxes to be check marked, and everything that's laid out in front of us are things that we have people on the team that are going to be specializing in, and so my involvement isn't necessarily as needed as it has been in the past. But for you all listening, like, just know, I mean, it's gonna be a while before we start really seeing um, a finished product come out for this next release. And then I'd say there's going to be a huge Roman marketing campaign. There's going to be a lot of RES weekends. We're going to be diving into each of these mechanics solely and separately. Um, and we're going to really get you guys geared for this next release, because we know it's going to be a completely different game than what you've had in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, guys, I know it might be a long wait, but it will be worth it, definitely, by the time we get there. I mean, you can see the amount of work that's gone into these mechanics already. Just think about this with the Roman units done, you know, with all the factions in the map ready to smash into everything. You know, there's hundreds of Roman units to be done and Italic units, so yeah, that's going to be a little while. With these mechanics, you know, absolutely polished off, I think it's going to be very, very, very good indeed, and I think it'll be definitely worth the wait. So yeah, fantastic. I think that is everything from us today, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we covered all the bases. Like I said, Lusitanio, Exy, and Biggest Dickus, they can answer any questions. They can add on their own words if we miss anything. Um, and any kind of questions that you guys have, leave comments and go to our Discord and leave comments there. I'll be putting out an announcement with this video, and I will see you guys in a year.
Yeah, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Ahowl, for all of your time and your effort and everything. And I am very much looking forward to seeing you again on one of these videos in a year. But for all of you guys out there, remember, these videos will carry on. It's not like they're going to go away or anything. I will still be updating you all on all of the work that's been going on with the mod team as well. So make sure you do like and subscribe. But without further ado, thank you very much for joining me, Ahowl.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and for the final time of 2025. Have a good day, and you guys enjoy the video.
Excellent. And thank you very much for joining us, guys. I will see you all again on the next video.